is with the ILAs that we've established for court services, the methodology has been a per filing fee, which doesn't capture all the costs. So what we did with the next item, we did true costs and allocated those out. That'll become the foundation for a model with all new ILAs that are up for renewal. And that's where the rate study will take a look at that and take true costs and assign them out. And so that's why I mentioned it, is because this is an important conversation that Frankie had with our team, our budget team, and we'll continue to have that conversation when it's time for the renewal to come up, which will be informed by a rate study. Once the rate study is done, we'll bring that back to the county commissioners to talk that through so that you can understand what the changes are before we have any interactions with our partner jurisdictions.
Okay, that's helpful. Any other questions for Judge Meyer or Frankie?
You got this.
All right, thank you guys for being here. And while we get the next item, let's go to that one. Actually, you got next two items. Interlocal agreement with City of Olympia.
I'll kick this one off, Chair.
Yep.
The City of Olympia has requested Thurston County provide all court services for the city, including progressive alternatives and supervised probation. If approved by the Board of County Commissioners, the administration of the court services in terms of the agreement shall be done in the same manner and the same agency and agents as now administer court services in Thurston County District Court. Commissioner's budget team and the court executive officer have thoroughly reviewed with the city the pro rata fully covered costs of services through December 31st, 2026. The City of Olympia contractual costs will be incorporated into the cost analysis alongside other jurisdiction costs for the renewal beginning in 2027. What I will say is I really appreciate District Court, our budget team, Central Services, IT, all the departments that have come together to work quickly with our partner, City of Olympia, to move this item forward. The implementation process is looking like a 6-month process. It is something that we are committed to, but wanted the commissioners to know it will require a significant amount of work and detailed tracking to successfully move over a large operation like City of Olympia into district court services, which also will include us discussing with the city and internally with our facilities an additional space for them to hold their court services. So there'll be some moving parts in this. It'll require our central service team, our IT team, our budget team. It'll require a district court team to all be working in coordination with the City of Olympia, who have been great partners in working with us to get us the information back and forth. And so we'll continue that level of partnership. And with that, I want to hand over to Frankie and Judge Meyer to see if they have any comments about this. What I would say is this historic step that is brought before you today.
Excuse me. I would just say that similar to what Mr. Hernandez said, we really, from District Court's point of view, we really appreciate all the work that's gone in through Mr. Cummings, Ms. Miller, Mr. Hernandez, and many other people who aren't here. But it's really been a great thing to be a part of, and we really appreciate all the work done by the county. So thank you for all of that.
So if the board were to approve this item at the meeting on the 29th, then there will be subsequent items coming forward. One partner I didn't mention who's key in this is human resources, because the taking on this court service will activate a number of positions that will be working to bring that before the board. That will be cost recovery from the City of Olympia. And so, as you can imagine, that level of coordination will require several different actions on the budget side and also for the board's final approval.
You mentioned probation. So I know that ours, we have kind of ramped down our probation abilities. Not that that's what we wanted. What would a ramping up look like, and what would that mean to the rest of the county?
We'd be able to provide a similar level of service that was included in our initial conversations when City of Olympia wanted to maintain that level of supervised probation and what that would look like, understanding that we serve multiple jurisdictions, the county itself. So that was all included in those conversations and what's included in the ILA to support those services.
So as we ramp that back up, these would be county-wide probation employees, not just
Correct.
within one jurisdiction. Okay.
Knowing that as we bill out jurisdictions, we can only bill them for the work that they're doing for that jurisdiction.
Okay.
But to what I think your perspective is headed is, yes, it gives us the flexibility to offer that and see if other jurisdictions are interested. And then, of course, through the rate study, charge them for the pro rata share what that service covers.
Okay, thank you.
I think that the work district court has done to quickly outline the full cost recovery is a best practice model going forward for how we recuperate costs. What we're seeing is that as they look at the real needs for their operations, and we're fortunate that district court and even in this case Superior Court, that they're dialed into that, they're able to quickly say this is what we're going to need. And I think that was telling how detailed and specific it was, so that when we worked with the City of Olympia, there was very little back and forth that took place, which is a positive note, that one, it's a trusted partner, but two, that the information that was provided by district court, verified by the budget team, was accurate.
And I would just say real quickly, the credit for all that goes to Mr. Peters here to my right. He put that all together, so thank you, Frankie.
Good job.
Anything else from commissioners on this item? Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna repeat, I just really appreciate everyone's, something like this is a big deal, and county manager just kind of ticked through all the different departments who are probably like, why do we need this project on our case law? I mean, it's like, but that's like down in the weeds, but if you go up a couple levels and take a look at this, I think it can have real benefit to the community. So I'm hoping that both the county as well as community-wide. So I really think that it's worth the effort to try to make this all fit, and I think we'll have a better product, a year from now or whatever. So exciting. All right, the next one, district court related, is interlocal agreement with City of Tanino for district court services.
Similar process, Chair, just on a different scale. City of Tanino reached out, and I think that's important to note, is that these jurisdictions are initiating these requests for services from district court, partly because of, they see the efficiency and the cost savings and the economy of scale that is able to be offered, but also the expertise and the additional services that come with a regional approach to providing service. And so similar process as we just discussed with the City of Olympia District Court, our budget team have been working in tandem to provide them an understanding after the court executive officer, Frankie Peters, has done several different outreaches with the mayor and the staff to understand what their service and the program level is, to come back with a proposal and see if Mr. Peters or Judge Meyer have anything to add.
Nothing further on this item. As county manager stated, this is very similar to the City of Olympia, just smaller scale.
Any questions on City of Tenino court services?
Is there a discussion about, what was the thing with Lacey where we were doing the infractions for?
The Violations Bureau.
Yeah, violation.
There's no intent for the City of Tanino to have a Violations Bureau. All services would go through the court.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, very good. And since we haven't seen you guys in a little while, under our new process, you won't have to be back here next week, because we've kind of, I'm not hearing any follow-up questions that board needs, so this would be an item that we would not have to double review next Tuesday.
Sounds good.
It's on consent, so thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Chair, the live stream is back up and running.
Okay, very good. So if folks are out there kind of seeing any meeting part you've missed it was recorded and will be posted later. We apologize for that, but a little technical glitch, and we had to keep going forward because we have a lot on our agenda this morning. So that'll be backfilled with a recording. All right, so hopefully live stream's back up and going, and we're up to item 7 under consent, which is Homeland Security Region 3 Mutual Aid Agreement with Emergency Services Department.
Morning, we have Kyle here joining us. Good to see you, Kyle.
Good morning, Kyle Bustad, Emergency Management Manager. This is the Region 3 Omnibus. This is a mutual aid agreement that was originally signed in 2008. It allows all jurisdictions, all political jurisdictions and subdivisions in the 5-county area, Mason, Lewis, Pacific, Grace Harbor, and Thurston. It is a mutual aid agreement. It allows for quick disaster response mutual aid. It's first signed in 2008, and this is an updated agreement. There were not a lot of changes, just clarification, and it had been a while, and a lot of turnover in leadership in all of jurisdictions. So we revamped the document. There is the start date is backdated to January 1st, and that's because we had to run it through all legal of all 5 counties. So it's gone through all the prosecuting attorneys throughout the county. That can take some time. And so although there is an administrative gap in the back date, there were no operational issues. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Kyle? Nope, hearing none. Good. Thank you. Next is Emergency Services Interlocal Agreement for Thurston County Emergency Management Council.
Kyle Bustad, Emergency Management Manager. This is our interlocal agreement that provides the collaborative emergency management process for all the cities, towns, and tribes of Thurston County. So this was an informal group, and then the first ILA was signed in 1993, and this has been updated ever since then. And so similar to the Region 3 mutual aid agreement, this is backdated to January 1st. This went through all the legal prosecuting attorneys for Thurston County and all of the cities and tribes. And so, again, although there's an administrative, there were no operational issues. We still met on a monthly basis. And this provides the opportunity for us to continue collaboration for disaster readiness and response. And I'm also happy to answer any questions.
Questions on item 8? Nope. All right, one more emergency services item is 9, resolution for updated comprehensive emergency management plan.
This is our comprehensive emergency management plan, which is required by state law. The last update was in 2018 with a partial update done in 2021. This meets the state law and grant requirements for FEMA and Department of Homeland Security. The first CMP was adopted in 1998, and this is the adoption of it through following the board work session last month.
Okay, questions on, so you guys have a lot of plans, so.
So many plans.
Is this kind of like, this is like a big one, right?
This is the big one. This helps direct all county departments and agencies, and even those independent elected officials. This provides a framework for us on how we will operate during an incident. And it's also available on the Thurston County Emergency Management webpage if anybody would like to view it.
Okay, I'm not seeing any hands or hearing any questions, so I think we're good to go.
Thank you very
A
much.
lot of work went into that. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Item 10 is a public defense item, contract with the Office of Public Defense for Adult Indigent Dependency.
Mia's online.
Mia, good morning. We can't hear you very well. No. It's not. It's like I was hearing a little whisper of your voice. I think it was not a mute issue, but like a volume issue, felt like.
Not yet. No volume.
How about now?
There you go.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, good morning. Mia Pagnotta, Fiscal Manager, Thurston County Public Defense. I'm here for Patrick O'Connor. He's not able to be here this morning. He's in court. We are here today to request permission to enter into a contract with the Washington State Office of Public Defense to perform adult indigent dependency and termination defense legal services. And I'm here to answer any questions anybody may have.
Okay. Is this a new, have you been doing this already? I can't.
Yes, this is a very standard contract. We renew with them annually.
Okay.
We've been performing these services for the Office of Public Defense for a very long time.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Okay, seems like we're good.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. PHSS, Public Health Grant Agreement for 2025-2027 Local Solid Waste Financial Assistance.
Hi, Jennifer Freiheit, Director of Public Health and Social Services. This is a request to the board to approve the 2025-2027 Local Solid Waste Financial Assistance Grant with the Washington State Department of Ecology for over $316,000 to support solid waste compliance and enforcement activities. This is a 2-year continuation of a grant that we have held for many years, and it's to support solid waste compliance through education and investigation. And I have Kimberly Graham here, our solid and hazardous waste specialist, to help answer any questions.
Morning. Any questions for this team? No? All right, good to go. Next item then, interagency agreement with the Department of Ecology.
Yes, this is a request for the board to approve an interlocal agreement with the Department of Ecology to provide pollution prevention assistance specialists for the term of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027 for the amount of $304,550.01. This is a 2-year continuation of funds we have held for several years to deliver technical assistance and education to small businesses to prevent public and environmental health impacts from poor hazardous waste management practices.
Questions on this item? This one? Hearing none, you guys are good.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Next up is item 13, Lake Lawrence Regatta application, and we have Sheriff's Office, Under Sheriff Mancias. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ruben Mancias, Under Sheriff for the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. Sorry I'm not there in person today. We're down here in Vancouver for a corrections deputy's graduation. We have about 5 of them graduating today. So, but the request is for the Lawrence Lake Regatta, which is going to be hosted by the Seattle Outboard Association. It should be September 12th through the 14th, shutting down the lake for events on the 13th and 14th of September. They met all the requirements for the application and have completed all the tasks. This is something that we've done for a number of years now. There's usually 1 to 2 events on Lawrence Lake and 1 to 2 events that are similar through a different association on Black Lake as well. So we're just requesting recommendation for the approval of the permit.
Any questions for the Under Sheriff Regatta? Nope, good to go. Calling in, congrats.
Right, thank you.
Congrats to your new graduates.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next up is 15, appointment to Solid Waste Advisory Committee. This is City of Yelms representative. And they get to make that represent, we have to approve it.
That's right.
Okay, David Johnstone, any concerns from the board? Okay, is that a council member or is that just a citizen, do we know? I'm curious.
Let me double check.
Don't recognize the name, but okay, fine. Either way, we'll keep that on there. Voucher list is.
He's on the planning commission.
Okay, perfect.
David Johnstone, yeah.
Thank you. Item 15 is a voucher list for week of June 23rd. And item 16 is a voucher list for the week of June 30. Any questions from the board? Okay. We have a few department items, actually 2, and they relate to public health and social services, housing issues. First one up is Encampment Resolution Program, or ERP, contract with Department of Commerce.
Yes, Jennifer Freiheit, Director of Public Health and Social Services. This is a continuation from our discussion last week, a request for the board to approve the interagency agreement between Thurston County and the Washington State Department of Commerce for Encampment Resolution Program funding, $4,080,000.
Based on the direction that was provided, just to give a quick update. Public Health and Social Services will be coming to the meeting tomorrow to make a presentation on the request for information on the different buckets of funding that affects the Office of Homeless Services, as well as we've reached out to the cities of Olympia and Lacey, who are in agreement to join a meeting with the chair and counties and city managers. And we reached out to the Department of Commerce yesterday and are waiting for a response. So we're hoping all of that dovetails before Tuesday's meeting, and we'll keep you updated.
Okay, so this morning, these are there, but there's gonna be follow-up discussion
Yes.
tomorrow, plus potentially with the commerce and, all right, so there may not be a lot to chew on this morning. Okay.
Learn more.
Anybody would need to address anything about this item this morning? Okay, let's go to the next item, encampment resolution program contract with providers. Go ahead.
Yep, and this is a request to approve the contracts with Interfaith Works and the Low Income Housing Institute to fund 4 projects under the encampment resolution program for a total value of $3,960,000.
We also appreciate the director of Interfaith for sending correspondence to the county commissioners, advocating for that outreach to commerce, among other things. So it's great to see their community alignment around trying to work with the state to fix this situation.
Any questions for the PHSS team this morning? Okay, more to come on these. Thank you, guys. We'll have community reports from commissioners, public comment related to general matters, and adjournment. Anything else about this agenda? And I don't know, in terms of follow-ups for next week, will this one probably, the ERP maybe? That's the only one I really heard.
Yep.
That we would need to have a follow-up discussion on in terms of a second review. Okay, perfect. Next up then, we'll look at advisory boards, and we do have some things to accomplish here. We've got, first up, Racial Equity and Inclusion Council.
Yes, thank you, commissioners. You should have received underneath your packets a handout that we'll use. So we just brought the whiteboard to paper for this morning. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Josh. So on July 9th, you received an email with the 18 applications that we received for the Racial Equity and Inclusion Council, or the REIC. Currently, there are 7 active members, so up to 8 additional members may be appointed. For some background, the Racial Equity and Inclusion Council was established by Resolution 16097 in 2021, which states the council may have up to 15 members and no fewer than 7. All members are members at large, meaning they can reside anywhere within Thurston County. They must be members of marginalized populations, specifically those who identify as Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Members serve 3-year terms and may serve 2 consecutive terms. We ask that you would bring to this meeting with you your 5 favorable applicants for appointment for a whiteboard exercise. And so we will get started with this handout rather than the whiteboard if there are no questions.
Let's turn the handouts in.
Yeah, if you can go ahead and identify your top 5.
Can we just X those 5, or do you want them ranked 1 to 5? Because
No,
just put an X if that's in your top 5.
yes.
And we kind of see where
We'll
we've got a lot of
average.
X's.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Commissioner, we want to facilitate this with Commissioner Grant. Can she just email you and then you report out what the email says? Commissioner Grant, if you can, maybe you can email the clerk your top 5 selections from that list, and then we can report out what your top 5 are as we continue the conversation here.
Sounds good. I just need someone to email me the list.
Okay, we'll send that to you right now. You got that right, Cliff?
Yeah.
Nice job multitasking, Amy.
Yes, definitely.
Amy, thanks for sending the list over. Do we have applications that go with this list?
Yes, that was emailed on July 9th. I'll forward that to you right now.
Okay, I can find it. If it's July 9th, I can look. Right.
To the clerk.
Yep, to the clerk.
Because I'm sick.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was bad form.
Do you want me to check and see if this is on camera?
Say it again.
Make sure it's on camera.
No, it's okay.
You can just call it out. Yeah. Is your pointer, are you finished?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Commissioner Grant just recommended. So we can.
I'm almost done. I'll send it back just 1 second here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheree.
Okay, Amy, I just sent it.
Thank you.
Amy, I'm having an issue getting something open on one of the applications. Okay. This one, this document won't open on the computer, but this one does.
Oh, yeah, okay, let me see if we have that. So, grant limit. We just have to link it.
Is that an equity council application?
Yeah.
Okay, those were included in the printed package.
Gotcha. She's wanting to open a copy of Garrett Leonard's resume.
I have everything printed, if that's helpful.
Yeah.
I think we all do on the table, in that packet right there on your
Not
right.
for the racial.
Doesn't have
equity.
the, doesn't
Oh,
have
I have them all printed. So who do you want?
Garrett Leonard's resume?
Yeah, his resume doesn't open when I open the other parts of the packet.
Okay, all I got is.
That's what I have too, but on the, this is linked as if it should be there. Okay. Thank you.
Can I see your other note?
Yeah.
For my own benefit. Yeah, I caught that. Cool. I see a lot of the same names.
That eliminated those from me.
We have 4 of the same 5.
That's a
Yeah, it's like.
land that one.
Yeah. No, we have 4 overlaps.
Okay.
That's good.
Good.
No, that's totally okay.
I'm sorry. Can you put how many each, like how many X's each one got?
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
So.
Yeah.
Mouse name, it's a little hard to read. So Jesse Guzman, was unanimous. Jocelyn Nelson received 4, Michelle Gibson received 4, and Aaron Swinger and Catherine McKinney both received 3. Those are the top 5.
Is There were no ties, so those are the only ones that got 3 or more?
Yes, those are the only two that got 3.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I didn't have was Ms. McKinney, so I want to look and see what her background was and why I didn't have her in either of my top 2 groups. Okay, so I guess one idea is to just use that process and go with those 5 if everybody's comfortable. If somebody wants to really try to argue against somebody, I'm fine with the 5 that landed.
I move to appoint the list on the board.
I'll second that.
All right, discussion on the motion. We've got Jesse Guzman, Jocelyn Nelson, Arwen Swanger, Michelle Gibson, and Catherine McKinney. I guess it's Jesse Guzman, I guess is a female applicants, guessing, don't know. But whatever, got somebody from Incorporated County, I think we got a good mix there.
Sounds good.
Did
Okay.
I understand correctly that we have capacity to appoint more than 5?
We can appoint up to 15 members total on the council. Currently, there are 7, so up to 8.
Okay. So what is the board's appetite for considering more than 5 applications, even if it's not today, like maybe in the next couple weeks? Because I do think there were some good applicants that are on the list. I do support these top 5 though.
I would like to wait until we have a racial equity program manager fully in and they have the ability to have at least a couple of meetings before we appoint anyone else. Just because with the expansion of any kind of groups and adding more people, the scheduling has always been an issue with this committee. And I would just want to try at least to get the capacity, and then we can do another outreach if we want, or we can go back to this pool of applicants and appoint more, but I would like to get a couple of meetings underway with these 5.
And on that point, County Manager, where is our program manager status of it?
We were in the final phase, but the candidate that was selected declined. So we're working with the team to determine what our next steps are. There was a good pool of folks, so we're determining if we need to go back out to refresh or go back to that.
So it sounds like it could be a fair bit of time before we have.
Several more weeks, yes. Yeah.
I think Commissioner Mejia makes a good point. I would want to see that program manager get in there, kind of do an assessment of the board, and if there's any, as we do another round of recruitment, they would be able to advise on, what they would want to see to round out that commission potentially.
Okay, so motion to appoint those 5. Any other discussion on that motion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that motion carries.
Aye.
And
It's planning to pick it up.
we can discuss further expansion of the board at a later date. Thank you, everybody, for that. That was exciting, actually, to have that moving forward. So next up is Salary Commission.
On June 17th,
Salary Commission.
the board approved an ordinance related to the salary commission that adjusted the language for membership requirements. There are a total of 9 members on the salary commission. 5 of those are drawn by lot by the auditor's office. The remaining 4 must be appointed by a majority of the board. They must be residents of Thurston County. Of these 4, 3 must have experience in the field of personnel management or in a related field other than organized labor. The 4th member must be selected from the related field of organized labor.
So there's 4 vacancies, of which 2 of those are the ones drawn by lot from the auditor.
There are, correct, yes.
And then there's 2 that are vacant from the community at large bucket.
The remaining 4 members.
Okay.
Yes.
And then does the auditor know about the 2 lot vacancies and have they
Yes.
sent out?
Yep, they've been working on that and we expect to have those in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
So one is, so of the 2 that's on our backs, on our plate, so to speak, is one of them is a organized labor seat, and one of them is an HR related but not labor seat.
Correct.
And we have, and how many applicants do we
There are
have?
4 applications.
And are they all labor? Are they 3 labor and 1 not, or what's that breakdown?
We've, 3 are labor and 1 is not labor.
So let's start there. Who's the non-labor candidate?
Mr. Cover?
He's also an attorney.
Justin Cover, right. All right, so let's start with non-labor. Justin Cover.
And again, these are informational today. We don't necessarily, today we can circle back next week.
So the questions before the board, do we want to move forward with Mr. Cover for the non-labor, seat? Or do we want to hold that open and continue to recruit or whatnot? And then the second question would be, which of the 3, if any, do we want to move forward for the labor seat? Okay. So let's just start with Mr. Cover then, so then we'll bring this back, so everybody kind of understands the field of play there, and we'll come back next week.
That's right.
Okay, anything that anyone wants to say about that particular topic today? The non-labor seat with the 1 applicant?
So we're making a decision today?
No, next week,
Okay.
potentially. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Cover's been involved in this, that, and the other in the time I've been on the board, so he's got, qualifications and, a record out there that folks can take a look at before we come back to decide next week. Let's move then to the labor seats, just in case there's any discussion or background. We've got Richie Meyer, Kent Markley, and Rochelle, is it Martin?
Yes.
Okay, Rochelle Martin, Kent Markley, Richie Meyer. So we have 3 possible labor candidates. Kent Markley, if I understand, was a WFC 443 affiliated. Mr. Meyer is a labor 252, I want to say. And Rochelle Martin is related, has a position, I think a staff position or something with the Labor Council. Thurston Mason. I know she's a candidate for city council in Tumwater. Just throwing out things I know about them, which isn't much. So is what it is. And so the idea is we would make a decision next week, potentially?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions or discussion at this point?
I have a question. When is the salary commission scheduled to meet next? Or I believe they were supposed to have a meeting in July. Has that date passed? Do we know if they met this month?
Because we don't have a quorum, we couldn't schedule one in July. So tentatively, we have one on August 18th. And that's dependent on the board making it, confirming the appointments, making the other appointed appointments, and us having a quorum.
Okay. So if we were to push this to next week, we would be would we be approving it on the 29th at the business meeting?
Potentially, or on August 5th. There's a meeting the following week.
Okay.
So if we be. So do we need to make a decision today so that this can be confirmed on the meeting on the 29th then? If that's what we want?
If you'd like, but there is a meeting the following week on August 5th. July is a month with 5 Tuesdays, so we do have back-to-back board meetings on Tuesday, July 29th and Tuesday, August 5th.
And their meeting would be to convene and decide whether to follow the board's suggested direction of not approving any salary increases.
That would be part of that agenda. They also have to elect a chair. So there's some other procedural things that need to occur during that first meeting.
I've reviewed all the applications and I would be comfortable making a recommendation today, but, you know, if everybody else wants another week, I'm okay with that too.
I'm with Commissioner Porter. I've reviewed these applications also.
Well, what, I haven't decided, but you guys might convince me. I mean, I'm willing to discuss it this morning and see if can be convinced. I guess if we have time, let's just open it up for discussion. What is your, Commissioner Flanagan, what do you, who's your recommendation?
Yeah,
Appoint Justin?
Yeah, Justin, there's one applicant. We haven't had an attorney on the board, on the commission for a while, and he's also he's got some tribal representation as a member of the Nisqually tribe. I think that's a fine applicant. And then Richie Meyer, I had the opportunity to meet with him a couple months ago. He and Local 252 came through and they were talking about some requests for community workforce agreements and things like that. And I was impressed. I think he'd be a good representative, and I would be making an argument for it.
Okay. Commissioner Klaus?
I'm also comfortable moving forward with the one non-labor applicant. I think that is a strong application. I don't see any reason why we would need to delay appointment on that one. As far as the labor candidates, I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk with Richie Meyer. So that's good to know that Commissioner Fournier has had that opportunity. I was actually going to advocate for either Kent Markley or Rochelle Martin. But I think that they have stronger applications on paper. But like I said, I haven't had a conversation with Richie.
Anyone else?
Just from my review, but you mentioned something about Mr. Cover, and so I don't know about that, but just from the applications that I reviewed, I was comfortable with Mr. Justin Cover, and I was also leaning towards Richie Meyer.
Commissioner Grant, are you, I guess, a couple of questions. Do you want to make this decision today? And whether you do or you don't, do you have any thoughts or leanings at this point you'd like to share?
I'm okay if we make the decision today. I've reviewed all of the applications and I was leaning more towards Rochelle Martin, but I think that if we can discuss and come to an agreement today, I'd be fine with making a decision today too. And I'm fine with the non-labor appointment.
Okay. All right, well, everybody wants to make a vote, and we want to appoint, let's go one by one. Justin Culver for the non-seat. Motion or just thumbs up?
Second.
We can just do a seat, we can just do we don't need a motion, right?
No, just direction.
I heard 4 thumbs. I'll abstain on that one, but that will go forward, Mr. Culver. And then on the non-labor, like there was a couple for Richie and a couple for Rochelle using first names, Ms. Martin, Mr. Myers. I was most interested in Markley or Myers. because WFC is the biggest labor union in Thurston County. And if I remember right, Mr. Markley had some kind of prominent role there. Executive board in 2023, shop steward in 2023. So that wasn't something I thought was worth considering, and Mr. Meyer looks solid as well, so.
Those are previous roles.
Yeah, so I guess
Current roles,
since
like,
there was, I'm kind of between those two, and since there was 2 to 1 for Richie, I'll just go with Richie Meyer for the, I'll just go with that as the labor rep. So is there, the proposal is Richie Meyer then?
I guess, I'm struggling to see what, I guess if my seatmates who are leaning toward Richie Meyer could kind of elaborate a little bit on that choice, because I see a significant amount of experience from both Rochelle and Kent that it's not clear to me on Richie's application why he would outweigh the others.
For me, he's currently the vice president of Local 252. You've got somebody, if it comes down to Kent or Richie, when I read Kent's application, I see that he previously had roles in organized labor, and then I see another one that is currently the vice president of Local 252. So it's more, he is currently a member of, an active member in leadership at Local 252. So that's kind of what does it for me.
Okay, well, in that case, I would advocate for, Kent's application. He's a shop steward, and he's currently a member of the executive board for WFC 443. So he also has a current active role. And he also serves as a delegate on TLMCLC right now, too.
Commissioner Mejia?
Oh,
Still leaning toward
yeah,
Richie Meyer?
yeah.
I honestly don't, have an opinion, but I don't want to hold up the vote, so I think, Commissioner, you were favoring Mr. Markley.
Or Rochelle, but I mean, either of them seem like really strong applicants to me. So, I mean, I'm really trying to think through, the rationale for Richie Meyer, because I don't want to, discredit one of our applicants. But I think if we're leaning towards Richie Meyer, I might need another week to think about that, because I'd like to be unanimous if we can. It's not always possible. But I would give additional time to considering Richie's application if I had another week to think through it. I just know that the other two sound, they're really strong applicants. They've been interested for a long time, so,
Yeah,
I know
so
that they're committed to.
if it's okay, I would like to take another week myself, because I'd like to we've spent a lot of time creating this position.
Yeah.
And there's some good applicants, and maybe I'll reach out to Mr. Meyer myself, which I haven't taken the time to do.
Well, we were gonna wait initially, but it was actually Commissioner Klaus and Commissioner Fanera who were like, let's move forward. And so that's why we started having this conversation in the first place. We were gonna wait, but.
And I'm still good with moving forward, but.
I'm okay with waiting a week. I'm struggling a little bit as I review these again to understand. I guess I also want to know a little bit more about Richie, because on paper I don't know enough. And the other two candidates have current roles and a lot of other, it seems like pretty robust experience. So I would like a week too.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Gray. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, so that, it sounds like we have consensus to wait 1 week on the labor appointment. We'll all come back and cast our votes next week.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Marie.
Thank you, Maria.
We have one more to address on the agenda, which is Capital Area Regional Public Facilities District Board of Directors. And in this case, we've got the City of Lacey as the admin, and they forwarded a couple of names. And lay this out for us, Madam Clerk.
That's correct. So the City of Lacey has conducted a recruitment for 2 vacant district-wide seats and received 2 applications from Ann Campbell and Jeff Line. The legislative authorities of Lacey, Olympia, Tumwater, and the county appoint the CAR PFD board members. 1 member is typically appointed by each jurisdiction, and the remaining 3 seats are appointed as district-wide representatives by all jurisdictions. Members serve 4-year staggered terms without compensation, and the current roster was also provided. So we've received 2 applications for 2 current vacant seats. We will plan to circle back next week on these as well.
So we don't really need to do anything today? Any questions or concerns about, we have Jeff Line and Ann Campbell. All right, well then that'll be on for next week. All right, then we added our, next item up is the added item, which was Know Your Rights discussion. Where that stands.
Yep.
County Manager.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'll invite up our new Chief Communications Manager, Susan. I think this is her debut coming to the table. And so, as directed by the commissioners, I want to give a special thanks to Commissioner Mejia for the time and effort that she put in, jumping back from being out and meeting Susan and I quickly. She provided a lot of great feedback from the interaction she's had in the community with stakeholders to help inform this page. And we have it here. It's not live, that's why we can't access it via the webpage, but what Susan has done is queued it up, and we can zoom in and kind of go step by step. So I'll go ahead and hand over to Susan, kind of walk us through the resources, and obviously, Commissioner Mejia, any comments you'd like to make, please feel free.
Hello, everyone. All right, so the page is currently in draft form, which is why unfortunately you won't be able to take a quick look at it. But if after this meeting you'd like to click through the live version on my computer, we'll be ready to go, and then we can publish it once it's approved. So we've added in some initial information, including a disclaimer. Much of this information is not specifically that we have created it, so we wanted to make sure that our community knows who is outlining all of this information. We have included Thurston County resources, including the Keep Washington working policies that we have, so those are available. We have information about the courts and attending court proceedings via Zoom, which is part of the Courts Open to All Act in Washington State. We have additional information about the Sheriff's Office and Corrections Bureau, and then Washington State laws and policies. And then we wanted to be sure with guidance from Commissioner Mejia that we included multiple languages. So we do have videos. Sorry, I can't see behind me, but perfect. If you scroll down a little bit. We have 2 videos courtesy of the County of Monterey. They have really great explainer videos in 2 languages, so we were sure to review and include those. There's a printable card that is available for you to print out and present to law enforcement, but also for your own information if you are approached. There's additional resources as we scroll down that really outlines your constitutional rights for all residents and available in multiple languages. This one is also an external resource. And then towards the bottom, we have community resources. And those include both Washington State, National, and Thurston County resources. There's a really great resource finder that Commissioner Mejia alerted us to, so we've included that so that you can find Thurston County resources specifically. And we also made sure the website, this page is fully ADA compliant. Everything that we've added here, we've looked through and vetted to make sure it's from a reputable source. And, yes,
Do you want to talk about where it's going to be placed?
yeah, so once we publish it, we're going to be able to add it to the homepage. It'll be a block on the homepage, so it'll be a link there. And so we can get that done very quickly once it's been approved. I just can't do that until it's published.
Yep, so if given direction, we can have this published shortly after the meeting for this afternoon.
Can you go up a little bit? So right there, I mean, to me, maybe you had a reason for this, but to me, it would make sense to say County of Monterey, comma, CA, because a lot of people don't have the counties of Washington memorized, or they may think it's Mexico, you know.
Certainly,
So
yep.
just so people know where the information is coming from.
Good point, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's a small thing, but it just seems like people want to know.
We also made sure that anything that automatically downloads, it's really clear on the page, so that people don't accidentally identify, perhaps at work, if they were looking at something, to make sure it's really clear for everyone.
Questions from board members? Awesome.
That looks good. I have a question about the languages. Could you scroll down to the language section, please? Okay, thank you. I would recommend, if possible, I would totally give a thumbs up to posting this today and then maybe adding some additional languages afterwards if they're not available right now.
I believe those are from that site. Those are the only languages that are available.
We didn't create those.
We didn't create that. So we would not be able to produce that document in other languages, unfortunately, since it's not ours.
Bulgarian's out, Commissioner Klaus. I know that was next on your list, but.
Yeah, it was. Okay. Well.
Joe.
Yeah. I like this. I just think that it's going to leave some people out. And I think it's important to make sure that we're being like completely inclusive with this.
That section is what the commissioners approved formally. So thank you, clerk, for doing the research to find what my predecessor had brought forward and commissioners approved with those languages in the past.
Yeah, this piece with the multiple languages, what was approved previously by the board back in 2020, and what was put out. So we just grabbed those previous resources as was instructed by the board and put them over here.
So what can we do to make sure that we're being inclusive of the languages that are spoken in Thurston County? According to TRPC, German, 1.2% of folks living in Thurston County speak German. 4.5% speak other languages, which include probably more than I'm aware of, but I know Tagalog and Filipino are also spoken by quite a number of people in Thurston County. So what will we do in addition to this to ensure that all of those people are being considered?
There's also a lot of indigenous languages too, like there's Mom and there's different ones, but those are not languages even usually found on the AOC site. And so just based on that information, we're putting out as much resources as we possibly can. And as more information becomes available in other languages, we'll put it out. But based on the timeline that was set, we were trying to put in as much information, and based on the outreach that I have done, which has been very extensive, and just trying to put in as much effort. So thank you, Susan, for the multiple back and forth that you received from me on this. Thank you, County Manager.
Can you open one of those and we see what they actually open?
Yes, so I won't be able to do it on this because it's a screenshot, but I can sit with you and you can click through and see everything.
Is it a video?
Sorry.
Or is it a
PDF? So those are PDFs. Basically, it's an extensive Know Your Rights. It has examples of warrants. It goes through each one very extensively, right? The videos are, thank you to the commissioners in Monterey County who allowed us to use these videos, but they made some of these themselves and they let us borrow them, so.
I guess my point is those are the extensive PDFs of the Know Your Rights information in various languages. And the commission initially said, get this done within 48 hours. And then we came back and said, okay, get it done within 5 business days. Good job. And then it would be impossible to have expected Tagalog and all these other languages where it wasn't already readily produced. And so
Commissioner Grant?
making a request of that would, if we say, hey, get it in 16 other languages within 48 hours, that is probably not a reasonable request of staff.
I'm not here to debate the motions from last week or whether or not something's impossible or whether or not it fits into the timeline. I'm simply saying, let's not leave people out. So
Help us do the work then. I'm sorry, Commissioner Klaus, but I have put a lot of effort into this, and I haven't heard anything from you on this besides coming into the boardroom and asking for things. And if you're willing to help, we have Leonard who's receiving information, we have Susan who has been receiving information. Then help. Go look for the information and send it to us. We're happy to review, we're happy to help along. But it's very frustrating for me sitting in this boardroom after there's been a lot of work and outreach that has been done, and then, just hearing well, why isn't there more languages? And it's we've been doing a lot of work extensively, and I think Susan was working until very late last night I was working until very late last night, making sure that all of our policies were there and making sure that everything that, we've done is out there. And so, for me, if you want to help, then help, right? It's not fair for you to come up here to the boardroom and make these demands of things, but not, if it's something you care about, and I understand you have a passion for it, then, send us some information and it can be posted up.
yeah, I'm happy to help. In fact, I've been sitting through these meetings where it's, constantly mentioned that you've done extensive outreach, which is very much appreciated. But I've also mentioned that I've done a lot of outreach as well, and nobody has followed up to say, what's the outreach you've done? Would you be interested in including
Well,
this?
why don't you send it over? Why do people have to reach out to you? If it's something I went up to and I was like, this is the information I have. This is, I've just been outpouring it. Anytime Commissioner Menser, he had a meeting, I sent him all this information. If it's something that you want to, for it to be seen, then send it. Don't wait to be asked.
I've mentioned some of the resources that I've been aware of in meetings, and I see that they're included here. So for me, it's not about who is the biggest subject matter expert on a topic. It's about collaborating together to ensure that we're being as inclusive as possible.
Then
I'm happy
collaborate.
to send over the information that I have. I'm happy to continue reaching out and doing additional outreach as well to get the information that we need. I don't see why we need to sit and argue about something or say that anyone's making demands, because this is great information. I have not said anything to, try to negate the work that's gone into this. I appreciate it as well. I thank staff. I thank you for your outreach, and I'm not going to sit here and try to put anyone down for not helping, but I do think that we could be better collaborators. There have been meetings that have been taking place that are mentioned here in this room, and then I'll follow up with commissioners. I talked with Commissioner Menser last week about a meeting that he attended that was mentioned during this meeting, but behind the scenes, we're not, at least my experience is not that we're reaching out to each other and saying, hey, I attended this meeting. I know that it's something that you care about, so I just wanted to follow up and provide you with the information from this meeting that I went to. I don't see that information sharing happening with each other to make ourselves a stronger board and a stronger county to serve everybody. And that's not something that's isolated to this topic. That's something that I see with many topics. So we'll come to the boardroom and, share information about a meeting that we attended, but when we know that somebody cares about an issue that they've mentioned numerous times, and this is not something that we can tell each other to do, but I think that we would be a stronger board and we would serve our county better if we actually worked together behind the scenes instead of coming into the boardroom and bringing things up for the first time or saying telling each other that we're being demanding when we're not.
Commissioner Grant's had her hand up for a while, and
Okay.
then I'll get to Commissioner Fournier.
Yeah, thanks everybody. This is really great work. I just want to acknowledge that this is incredible, and I think it's going to be really helpful. I do want to just bring up the fact that, you know, when we think about equity, you know, diversion and equity, and you know, equity is about making sure that everyone has access to the information, and it's concerning to me because I don't know that everyone has access to the internet, and so I just want to kind of reiterate that if we have the ability to also post this or post something in, you know, on our buildings that say that they can access this on the internet, I mean, I think that that'd be great, because, you know, I don't, a lot of people who don't speak, you know, and you know, English wouldn't even know where to go to get this, and so I just want to kind of reiterate that I hope that we have some way of posting one of these resources somewhere so so everyone can access it.
Thank you, Commissioner Fournier.
I just wanted to speak to Commissioner Klaus's comments. I don't want to say that there's lack of communication or lack of collaboration, I think is, from my perspective, wrong. You know, Commissioner Mejia spoke about how she was able to successfully, properly communicate and navigate and this issue with staff. So I think it's more a matter of figuring out how to do that properly, because there are things you can and can't do outside of this boardroom communicating with your fellow commissioners. So there's ways that you can do it, but there's ways that are against the law as well. So if you're having difficulty figuring that out, you know, that's a different issue, because, you know, like we can't use our EAs as proxies to communicate with every commissioner, or we're creating public meetings violations. So there is inherent difficulty in doing that, but it's designed that way because most of this open discussion has to take place here in front of the public. But there are, you know, ways to collaborate outside, but we have to be careful doing that. And you know, like, look to your peers to, if you're having some difficulty with that, to figure that out. Just friendly advice.
Yeah, well, you know, I hear you frame things frequently as like, if you're having trouble understanding, or if you're having difficulty with things, that I'm not saying that I'm having difficulty, you know, reaching out to my seatmates. In fact, I reached out to Commissioner Minter, as I said, last week to get information about a meeting that he mentioned. But it's, you know, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, so I'm trying to be careful what I say. But, you know, I'm not talking about using EAs as proxies. I'm not talking about illegal serial meetings. I'm simply saying we could do a better job as commissioners to ensure that we are all as strong as we can be in this role. And so there's a lot of combative situations, or, you know, there's conflict that happens both in the boardroom and behind the scenes. There are, you know, commissioners like misleading one another. And like I said, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but if you would like me to elaborate, I can. But I just think that we could be better team players, and we don't have to create serial meetings to do that.
Commissioner Grant?
Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna hop in here, and I'm not feeling well today, and so you know, I'm not in the office. I wish I was there, and I wish I was on camera, but you don't even want to see what I look like at the moment. But I mean, I'm just gonna say that I would agree. Well, this is one of the things that I live by in my life is, you know, being excellent to others always. And I think what Commissioner Klaus is trying to say is, and I would totally agree with Commissioner Klaus on this, that that we aren't always excellent. Other commissioners are not always excellent to each other and respectful around these kinds of things. I want to be very clear that, you know, you know, Wayne, you mentioned that if we need to get something done, we just do it. And that is not that has not been the experience I've had since being on this commission, that if there's something that needs to get done, you know, and it's Wayne's idea or Carolina's idea or Ty's idea, then it will get done. If it's Rachel or Emily's idea, we get, no, we can't have a meeting, no, we can't work with staff, and no, you know, we need to just let someone else do it. And so that is my experience so far on this board, and I just want to be really clear that there have been clear winners and losers as far as how to accomplish things, and it's not just that easy. I would love it to be that easy. I would love the fact, like, I think that what Emily's trying to say and I am trying to say is that yeah, it should be that easy. If we want to get something done, we want to bring something forward, we should be able to present information. We should be able to, you know, put together things and work with others to get it done. And I would absolutely love to do that. But every time I reach out to ask for some support on that, I don't get it. And so I want folks to know that it just hasn't been that easy for some of us.
Can I,
Sure.
I will push back on that notion because I've been 5 years on this board and there's been plenty of times where I've been told no on something. And, you know, with that, I always have like that clarification conversation. And then if it's something that needs board direction, I brought it up to the board and asked for that direction from the board to like do the work. And for me, like whenever, you know, I ask, when I've been told no by the county manager, or, you know, this is not possible, or, you know, this is the requirements that it's going to need. I think it's just about having those conversations, and I don't think those are happening. And I've seen kind of some of, you know, the tones of the emails that go back and forth. And, you know, I think it's also how we're communicating. And I think, you know, this conversation can go a lot deeper, but, Chair, I'm just going to ask, like, if there's going to be an approval of the website, get back on topic and
Yeah, let's get
move
back
forward
on
on
topic.
that.
Yeah, I'll just throw in one statement related to everything I'm hearing, which is that I worked with 3 county managers. I've never seen an instance of the board directed something to happen and the county manager said, refused to implement the direction of the board. Sometimes there's misunderstanding about the process and we talk that through, but if the board talks it through and says, nope, that's what we want to do, then that's what the county manager does. I've never seen it go any other way. So there's that. So back on topic, we have.
Can I say, I shouldn't, but like, I can't not. And this is just weird airing of like grievances, I guess, but you know, Commissioner Grant, I'm sorry you don't feel well. Like was said, everybody hears no all the time, but it's like how you navigate the no and how you navigate the yes. And, you know, you say always be excellent to each other. I really haven't even spoke to you much since like, intern gate. And really like, I was very, professionally and diplomatically trying to explain that commissioners can't sign contracts binding the county, and in your being excellent to others, like you got so upset with me, you called me on the phone and screamed at me and swore at me and told me to never speak to you again.
Can we just go, Commissioner?
That's, you know, I'm all about being a team member,
go back,
but
please,
sorry.
to just the website? Can we just
Yeah.
like, just give direction to staff on the website?
So I move to approve staff to publish the website.
Haven't we already done that in a second? I can't remember. We've had all this
No,
conversation.
there was a
Have not.
motion and a second,
I'll
but there
second.
was no action.
I apologize as chair. I think, you know, judges always, there's always in the courtroom, you open the door to something, then it has to be allowed to be responded to. And I think I was applying that principle.
I saw the door open.
Which as a chair, I don't necessarily have to follow the same principle as all the judges that would shut me down back in the day. So, or allow my opponent to say something that they think I opened the door to. So that was definitely an opening the door situation, but I understand the point with which we need to stay on point, which is to approve the publication of the work that's been done and Susan has laid out for us. We have a motion and a second discussion on that motion.
Just say good job.
Klaus.
Yeah, I do have discussion on that motion. I support the motion. I would like to kind of recap a little bit of how we got to this point, which does touch a little bit on what we're discussing, you know, throughout this conversation. But I was the one that brought forward the proposal to put the information on the county buildings. Following that conversation, Commissioner Mejia reached out to me and asked if I'd be willing to consider going a different direction. We had a conversation on the phone about the proposal that is being considered today to put this website up. And during that conversation, you know, I was extremely grateful for the suggestion because I was also hoping that we could put something on the website. I wasn't thinking this extensive, so this is great. But following that discussion, or actually during that discussion while I was on the phone with you, Commissioner Mejia, not only did I thank you for proposing this direction, but I also volunteered to assist with it in any possible way. And nobody reached out to me. And I understand the point of going, you know, me being the one to reach out, but having volunteered the information, initially bringing it up to the board to have it posted on the buildings. And when I did that, I brought forward specific resources. And I also mentioned additional resources that are available where we could have this information come from reputable sources. So I know we're moving away from the conversation about like the dynamics of the board, but this still has to do with what's being considered here today. And just kind of to speak on some of the points that have been raised, you know, we're kind of going back and forth about like who's being told no and who's being allowed to bring things forward. And despite being the one that brought this up initially, I haven't once, you know, heard, thank you for your effort on this. Thank you for your concern around this issue. But instead it's thank you, Commissioner Mejia, for bringing this website forward. Again, not negating that because it is appreciated, but it just kind of goes to show how difficult it is to move things forward for myself and Commissioner Grant. And that's not, you know, some sort of made up concern. That's legitimate. So yeah, all of that being said, you know, I do support this. I also want to have the discussion, which we keep bringing up and it's not being addressed, of putting this on the buildings as well, putting something on the buildings so that for those who don't have access to the internet, they can still get the same information or as much information as possible. So,
Okay, then I'm gonna call for.
well, I guess if that's, because again, it's not being responded to. So if we're not gonna include that in this motion, then after the vote is called, I would appreciate us addressing how we're gonna post it on the buildings.
Let's take care of this motion, then we can move to that related topic. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Okay, that motion carries. The question then you're raising is, can something else be done with something in print? When you say on the building, I thought the whole point was we're not putting it on the building. It was about a leaflet or this could be printed and in the information. Don't we have places where we have stuff? Is that, I'm trying to ask you, is that?
Yes,
Before you said on the building and we thought you meant like a placard on the building and then
Right.
you said, that's not what I meant.
right.
Is that what you mean now or?
No, I've never, and I don't ever plan to propose putting a
Then
placard,
don't use the
spending
preposition
money on
on,
that.
is my suggestion.
What's that?
I said, then you don't use the preposition on is my suggestion.
Well, I don't mean a placard, but I do think that putting a piece of paper on the door would be appropriate because sometimes, you know, or a leaflet or all of the above. I think it should be as accessible and noticeable as possible because some people won't come in and look at the information table, but they'll notice something on the door. Or people might not notice the door, but they go to the information table. So I think having it in both places would be a good idea.
But then that wouldn't be in all the languages either. I mean, it would
In English.
be just in English, right? And
It doesn't have to be just in English.
I'll pop in here today, and I just want to say that I saw in the last weekend on multiple businesses in downtown Olympia over the last weekend posted pieces of paper where it says know your rights, and it has multiple right underneath it. It has multiple languages. It's just a one pager that says know your rights, and then it has information on it. So I think it is possible if we could get it done.
And where would you want this information? We have what, how many buildings? 15 buildings or something on every building in Thurston County?
We're not necessarily in charge of all those buildings. I think, you know, like everything that I'm told is this information, you know, like outside of these government buildings, or these government buildings aren't the places where the folks that are affected by these issues are congregating. They're avoiding these type of buildings at this point, is what I'm told. And so, you know, if that's just a thing that we want to do, just to send a message out there, but in my mind, the most effective way to get out to people is through the internet. And, you know, hearing that there's places of business that are posting those things, that sounds like good outreach that's probably more effective than a government building. I'm not against putting some type of sign or pamphlet or flyer anywhere in the building. I just feel like this is more substantive. And for those online, I'm pointing to the website that's been created with this cache of information. And just putting a placard on a building seems more it could be seen as more performative, you know, like I don't want to just create a selfie spot for folks to, you know, take pictures with. Having the information available to, you know, our community online, and then in pamphlets wherever appropriate, or, you know, we make them available for businesses to pick up and have available at places where, you know, the communities that are affected by this are going to be able to find them. Makes sense.
In 2020, you know, it made sense to me to have the information at the courthouse, because we had specific information that the strategy being used, the MO being used by ICE, was to show up when people went to court. And we had a very visible example that happened in our parking lot. So that made sense to me. What I heard at the meeting, and I shared this with Commissioner Klaus over the weekend or Friday, whatever it is we talked, was what I heard at the regional meeting is that what's happening now in Olympia is they're finding somebody where they are, they're figuring out where that person is. They're waiting for them to get in their car, trailing them into a secluded street, and then pulling them over like a traffic stop where there won't be anyone seeing, and it's done. So I don't know how you know, like if that's the MO, you know, I mean, the MO could change any day, but I'm saying if that's what's happening now, it makes it difficult for me to know where the right information would be to prohibit something like that from happening. It's not targeted at like a place that we could focus on, like the court. So yeah, I'd like to see it wherever it could be effective. I'm just struggling to figure out where that is.
Community centers, maybe.
Slather it everywhere. I mean, you know, with the atrium's just the atrium. People come here. I mean, this is obviously one focal point of county government, but once you get past the atrium, then what? We've got 3 or 4 different court buildings. We have public works. We have public health. Public comes in there. We've got sheriff's office. I mean, we've got all sorts of places. And I don't know, you know, where the right strategy is for this information to go that would be effective, in what languages, in what form, how much detail. It just gets murkier than the very specific task at hand we had in 2020, where we knew they were coming to our court complex.
Well, so I'm happy to bring forward more detailed proposal for what I think would be important to include on the buildings. I guess my question for the board is, since we did identify the leaflet that was used in 2020, what can we do now? What can we make available now? Is it that pamphlet? You know, because I think whatever we have available now, we should be putting in public-facing buildings. I know we have a lot of county buildings, but my proposal was to put it in public-facing buildings where members of the public are coming in and interfacing with the county in some capacity. So I don't know that Public Works, I don't even know if people come into Public Works at, the Tilly campus or, wherever, but I think whatever we have available, we should put that up now, and I'm happy to bring forward a more detailed proposal to answer some of the other questions.
Do we still have a motion on the table?
We passed,
Did we pass it?
no, we don't have a motion on the table. We passed the motion. We're just discussing the general
Okay.
idea of printed material. Be on the website. Well, let me ask Susan, so the Know Your Rights PDFs, is that, if I clicked it and printed it, remind me how big is it? Does it fit on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper? Is it a foldable, like leaflet type of format, or what does it look like?
So the PDF is full page, about 18 pages, because there's a lot of information included. So that would be quite a thing to print out. There is a red card, which is the card that you can supply if you're approached by law enforcement. You would share with them. It also includes your personal rights. That one we have through the County of Monterey in both English and Spanish. So that one is an easier one to print and have available.
And I'm not even, I look over there, I can't see around the corner. Do we have at the front of the atrium like a thing, like this, where there's printed stuff?
Yes, we do.
That seems like one place to start. This is kind of the hub of county government.
Yeah, I think that would be great to start with that.
Couple of editions of this 18-pager, is that what you're thinking? The 18-page Know Your Rights, and we could have, 5 copies sitting out there in the thing at the front of the atrium, just and see, and then that gives you time to, if you want to propose something more substantial or extensive, you can think that through,
That sounds good.
right? I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Commissioner Grant? Not there, so it's 3-0 with an abstention, 2 abstentions, I guess. So is that,
Sorry, my internet froze. It's a yay for me.
okay, so that passes. Is that clear direction? Kind of?
printing.
Just,
We'll have 5 copies up here at the atrium flyer holder.
any other commissioner items for the morning's agenda? Okay, we're back at 1:30 for 1 p.m. planning session. Thank you.